Hey everybody, it's Megan Alexa back with another original. This one is entitled Fun Warning. Fun warning is my way of saying that you should live your life to the fullest, but by making wise decisions. I hope you enjoy. Gotta go sleep in the morning. Try to wake up at night. No, how the same thing happened yesterday. The screen's always getting in my way, and I have to go out on a run. Have to go out and get some sun, but I don't wanna have too much fun. 'Cause in a matter of a second, it'll all be done. It's unfair, laying on the grass and you don't care. It is simple staring at the stars at night. Nothing to fear. It's getting dark. You're with your friends playing music at the park. Talking to strangers like it's funny. No, it's not. It's gonna happen, dear. You can have fun, but you might get hurt. It won't last long, so I say to earth. That's why I gotta go sleep in the morning. Time to wake up at night. No, hello, the same thing happened yesterday. The screen's always getting in my way, and I have to go out and on a run. I have to go out and get some sun, but I don't wanna have too much fun. 'Cause in a matter of a second, it'll all be done. All fun and games. You know I'd ask, but I really can't play. 'Cause I don't have time and I really can't stay. Don't wanna die tonight. Don't get me wrong, love agrees it's the same favorite song we have. Of course, we keep in touch. Only online though, I wanna have fun, but I might get hurt. It won't last long, so I'd say to earth. That's why I gotta go sleep in the morning. Try to wake up at night. No, hello, the same thing happened yesterday. The screen's always getting in my way, and I love to go out and on a run. Love to go out and get some sun, but I don't wanna have too much fun. 'Cause in a matter of a second, it'll all be done. Be done. Living a new lifestyle, no fear and no regrets. Don't know that maybe this will be my last mistake. I should know better. Living a new lifestyle, no fear and no regrets. Don't know that maybe this will be my last mistake. I should know that it'll all be done. Be done. Where does the time go? It waits for no one. It's done. Thank you.
Hello, can everyone hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
we are there.
thank you. Hello, friends and fans of Radio Ipeme. It is your most favorite host, Emerance Kaijuka, who usually hosts the talk show Tuganire. It has been a long time, and I am so happy to be here today. Today, it's March 5th, 2022, And our show Tuganire has achieved a big milestone. It has taken a new step by starting Let's Talk, an English version of Tuganire that will mostly address the issues of our community and especially of our youth. And believe it or not, we will talk much more about much more. So today, our youth faces many challenges, and I believe no parent can argue with me on this one. When these challenges are not addressed early enough, we all know that they do affect our children for a long time, sometimes for a lifetime, and sometimes they even lead to death. Parents are challenged because of the peer pressure that causes young people to trust their friends more than they trust us, meaning as parents. So the aim of this talk show is to build a network of young people who don't understand the Kinyarwanda, because we usually hold our shows in Kinyarwanda, but we know our youth cannot understand Kinyarwanda, and the aim of this talk show is to build a network of young people who are willing to share their own experiences, whether it is about success or failures, and possibly share helpful tips that helped them get out of bad situations, of troubles. I hope the youth in Rwanda will also follow our show and later join us to share their own experiences within our beloved country, because that is very important. So today's guest is the young, talented singer-songwriter and storyteller, Megan Alexa. When I say she's talented, I think everyone can agree with me. We have, by the song we just started with our show, and it's her original. So yes, she's a singer-songwriter and a storyteller, and she wants to share important tips that helped her overcome some of her challenges. So before I go too far, I would like to pass the mic to my co-host, Parental, to greet our listeners and start our show.
Yeah, thank you.
Again, how are you?
I am fine, thank you. Hope you are too.
I am.
Thank
The
you.
cold is getting, the weather is getting much better. And I don't know about the weather in England. How is it now?
Yes, it's getting better. It's getting warm and warmer. So everybody's starting to smile.
Oh, that's nice.
Normally in this country, when in winter, when you meet someone, you think you had a problem, you have done something wrong with them, for them, because they don't smile. But in summer, everybody will smile. So I have started to see that. Then anyway, thank you for hosting this important program, and it is my pleasure to meet Megan as a young, talented Rwandan person. I'm so happy. And this program, I think it is important, is really important to start to share our views and the thoughts with our young people. And we can share our past experiences so that they can build a better one, and a better future for one, and a better one than we lived in. We have witnessed a lot of tragic experience. So I hope so many young people, Rwandan young people, will join us, will join this program. And thank you very much. Greetings to you and to all our listeners. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I'm excited to provide some insight, hopefully provide some insight that people will take away, that people will value. that will be relevant to what's happening to them. I do pay attention to like basically the youth community. As a member of the youth community, I've had some experiences that are character defining, and I have noticed the way that children trust their parents more than their peers. It's something I've really seen, and so I'm really excited to just provide some advice and enthusiastic at what everybody else has to say, bringing their own perspectives. So yeah, I'm excited. Let's get into it.
Thank you very much, Megan, Alexa. Thank you very much for being participating in our show, and by your support. I think your example will serve to our auditors who are your age or just young people, our youth. And you know what? We are not going to limit it to only Rwandans, because now when we talk, we can talk in English. We can also open it up to our other youth who may follow our show and feel interested to share some tips and some ideas. So yes.
Yes.
So yeah, let's get started. So again, thank you for being our guest, and as a talented singer-songwriter, but also a storyteller, this is your quote.
Yes.
The key to success is not necessarily your talent, but your approach. You being talented, I can trust you when you say this, because you know what you mean when you say the key to success is not necessarily your talent, but the approach, your approach. So I'm very sure there are many young people who are listening and who may be struggling with life, with anything.
Yes.
We all know.
Yeah.
And who would really want to hear more about the approach you are talking about? And also, I don't remember if you are 16 or 17.
I'm 17. I turned 17 actually only a few weeks ago, February 18th.
Oh, wow. Happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you.
So I am, when you talk about the key to success, and you are as young as 16 or 17, there are many people who may be wondering, what kind of success is she talking about? So while in high school, so you know what? I want you to take the mic and share with our auditors about your experience, life experience, about the approach you are talking about your struggles, if you have any, or about your amazing life, if it's only that. And you would maybe talk about the success, what you mean by the success. You know what? Anything. The mic is yours now.
All right. Well, the approach. So I would like to talk about that first. So when I say your approach, I'm talking about the way you choose to go about a process. So the way you choose to reach your goal is what I'm talking about when I say approach. Well, one of the best approaches I've seen that have ultimately led to success are simple personality traits that will obviously represent an approach. So, for example, being a practical person, a good listener, and being meticulous. So being a good listener, or in other words, just listening in general, is such a simple thing, but it can be so hard for us to do. It can be, depending on the reason, it could be hard for us to do for personal reasons, like cognitive reasons, but it could also just be difficult for us, because we try to go too fast. We try to go from step 1 to step 3 to step 5 all at once, and it's not only not unmeticulous, I'd say, or non-meticulous, but it's not helping you succeed, and it's not humble. So those three personality traits, being practical, being meticulous, so taking things step by step, being systematic, will lead you to success. So I'll provide a concrete example. In my experience, I knew a student, or my classmate, and I could notice that they weren't necessarily competent. Oh, okay. So I noticed that they weren't necessarily competent, but I could, sorry, there was just a pause there. I knew that they weren't necessarily competent in calculations, math. Their math skills weren't as high as me, which was why I was surprised to learn that they scored higher in an exam that was based on, your knowledge of math and your understanding of, your problem solving skills. That's what they were evaluating, and she scored higher than me on the test. But then I quickly noticed why it was that she scored higher than me on that test. It's she actually, I think she did better than me in many things, even though, like, in terms of grading, not necessarily understanding, but because she was a good listener. She knew it was her responsibility to follow the instructions. She knew that it was the best approach, not only because it obviously works, but because she was also a humble person. So, like, it's my way of saying that being a good listener goes hand in hand with being humble, because because you know the limit of your abilities, for example, and because because
when
I
your
would say
limits, you can ask for help when you need help, right?
Yes, exactly. You can ask for help when you need help following instructions, even. Those people succeed more than those who think that they'll do well just because they are predisposed to do well in that profession. And so, yeah, that's my take on the approach for her. And then I'd also I also heard of an experience by my teacher, my 8th grade teacher, who was actually gifted. She was gifted in math. She had strong abilities in math. She skipped 4 grades starting from the age of 14. She skipped 4 grades in high school, leading her to attend university at the age of 14 rather than 18, which is crazy. And she thought that this would get her far. But then she told me, as my math teacher, she said she regretted it. She says, when I look at you students, I want you guys to take things step by step. I want you guys to take things slowly, follow the instructions, don't go too fast, because ultimately it can lead you nowhere, or it can lead you far from your goal, which is, yeah. So, yeah, it's just my way of saying that
what happened to the teacher?
Well, what happened to her was that, she couldn't attend. She ended up being an 8th grade math teacher, whereas her mental abilities could have led her so much further than that. It's not to judge her profession as an 8th grade teacher, but it's just to describe how she couldn't reach her full potential.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So those are the.
Did she share with you about the mistakes she made in more detail? So
no, she didn't. Actually, she did share that she not only was she impacted on like her career path. Not only was her career path impacted, but her emotional health was as well. She got to university thinking that everything would be fine, but as well, her peers, they all used her for math homework. They like every time she would work with them, they would always just ask for her help for that, and that was it. She didn't even make any friends, and so she ended up with nothing. She was.
Was it because she was much younger than them, because she skipped so many grades?
I think so. Well, because yeah, I think that's what it is, because she like when they looked at her, they didn't see her as somebody at their level. They saw her as abnormal for being that high at that high of a stage, at that young of an age.
But what stopped her from continuing to study? Because she was very smart, and it's just.
I don't know either. I'm not sure. All I really took from that was that she didn't take the right approach towards a goal. Obviously, you could expect that she had a higher goal than to be an 8th grade teacher. You can expect that, I think.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I get it. She didn't. What I am taking from it is that she didn't take things step by step. She skipped steps and she got somehow mixed up and confused.
She missed
and so that goes back to my point of being humble. I realized even in her way of teaching us, she could not wait for us. Like, well, I would rather say that she wasn't patient for us. She wasn't a good teacher. She was good at math. She was my math teacher. She was amazing at math. She was a very fast learner, but she didn't have the patience to wait for the patience to teach somebody who learned at a slower pace than she did.
Oh,
yeah.
So even if she was very smart, she could not excel on her job.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, I see what you mean.
So I think that, like, I could to answer your question earlier, I think not only did she miss like the social aspect of life, but she also, how could I say this?
She had no empathy. I think.
Yeah, I guess so. She had no empathy, and she also there were a lot of things. What possibly stopped her from moving forward is that she probably missed a lot of knowledge that you learn in earlier grades. I mean, since she skipped 4 grades, there was a lot of knowledge, a lot of things that she thought that she already knew that she actually didn't get to learn.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. In all you have just said, if I can summarize, is be a good listener.
Yes.
Be humble.
Yes.
And take things step by step.
Yeah.
Oh.
Never think that you're above the system.
Okay, that's nice. I can pass now the mic to Prudentienne. I know you have much more to talk about, and I will come back to you later. So, Prudentienne, what do you think about the approach Megan is talking about as a parent who, who knows what our youth is going through? Do you think these are whatever Megan is describing is really can help, or do you have more to add to it? You are on mute, Prudentienne.
Tuganire. Yeah.
Yeah.
As I said, I totally accept what she said. It's a really good experience. Being a good listener is important, as well as what I can add to what she has said. It's learning from others as well is important, because as she said, you can't believe that if you start believe that you are above of other people, over everybody, you are completely lost. You are wrong and lost. Uh, as a parent, to raise a child, it's like raising a tree, or you are planting flowers or crops. What you do, you put the compost around. You cut the bad branches if it's a tree, to make the tree goes straight and up, growing nicely. So raising a child and helping them to achieve what they want to achieve, it's not you as a parent who can achieve that. You are a parent, you have a child. You will start to build up a strategy. What is it not as well? We always want to say, I want my child to be this. I wanted, for instance, I want my child to be a doctor, to be a lawyer. It's what you think, how my child is going to grow up, who he is, and support who he is and what he wanted to achieve. I will support in that way. I think to help someone succeed, it's as well include the environment you are living in. It's about you, it's about friends and the family and the professionals who are looking after your child. You are not raising child on your own. It doesn't exist at all, because you have your child, they have a granny and the aunties, the uncles. You have to let those, again, the whole family get involved as well. If you see, for instance, your child is not listening, as Megan says, sometimes children trust peer more than parents. And sometimes it is important, if you see it's not the child's fault, but you can prevent that from the child being listening to peers by leading to the friends and the family whom they trust. For instance, they have aunties, allow them to visit aunties, uncles, they are all good role models. They will talk to the child positively. The teachers, the child go to school. You will need, if you want your child, for instance, to, as Megan said, to succeed is not being talented, is the way you approach things, the way you approach everything. You need to start thinking about which school, for instance, you want your child to go to good university. You will start to think which primary school the child will go to. And step by step, you take your child to good primary school to achieve of going to a high standard secondary school, and then you will reach to that university that you wish your child to go to. You see your child growing, you see what they like. They enjoy math, or they enjoy English, or geography, or computer. You allow the freedom as well to the child to know what they want to achieve, and by supporting, helping them what they enjoy doing. For instance, a child is enjoying computer, and encourage a child to do a computer science course. And then when they want to go to university, to follow that course. Because since you start to push a child in what they don't want to do, what they don't enjoy, because you want the child to be a math teacher when they are not good at math, what you are doing. I think approach is the most important in whatever we are trying to do. And environment as well we are living in, because for instance, you are in a country where people are selected. You can't do this because you come from this background. Where you are limited to do everything. If we have opportunity where we are living, we are allowed to do something, use that opportunity and achieve. Because, for instance, if we're talking about environment, you want your child to be a doctor, for instance. Are you going to take your child to, sorry?
Oh, sorry, never mind.
Yeah. Are you going to take your child to a school which you know has no reputation? You have to search to find a good school your child will go to get to that level. So I really feel, yes, it's great. You as well to achieve it, to get to something, you have to have your self-confidence as well. Believe in yourself. Because if you don't believe in yourself, you can't achieve anything. If you mix with people who are wrong, who are not good role model, you are not going to get anywhere. So you have to know who the children, who friends you go to, school you go to, friends you mix with, family affect your life. So I think if you are in a good family, you are born on a parents who know where to support you, where to pass, you will get there. If you have a friends who support you, who work with you in a positive way, you get there. If you have a parents who doesn't attend the school meetings, who doesn't meet your teachers and see your progress and encourage you to do homework and take you to good activities, sport activities, you can't achieve anything. So it's a combination of a lot of things. It's not one thing. You can be a good listener, but if you can be you can do something wrong that will never let you achieve as well. So you have, it's to get to achieve something is combination of a lot of things. Supportive, positive attitude, positive support. Everywhere you see there is a good support, you can go approach it. You want to be a politician, you are not going to go and hang around with the teachers or priests or ministers. You will hang around with those who are in politics. You will go to start to become a local representative of your party. You will enter in your opposition party. That's how you get there. So that's what I can add to it, to what Megan has said. And I really feel she has a good point.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, thank you very much, Prudentielle, for adding to what Megan said. Yeah, as you just said, it takes more than one person to raise a child. You talked about teaming up with the professionals, teaming up with the child themselves, teaming up, I mean, like the whole group, the family. Those are all very, very important. And also you talked about supporting our children in their supporting them according to their strength. That is really, really important because, like you said, many parents, we still have that idea, that ideal, thinking that our child is going to be successful if they become a doctor, if they become a lawyer, but we tend to forget what their strengths or their interests are. And a child can do what you want, but if they are not interested, it won't serve them as it should. So yeah, that is very, very important, and it very. Thank you very much for your comments. Yeah. So Megan, really, I thought you were too young to give us advices, but I think yeah, You did amazing. So I
Thank
want
you.
you to ask you another question for
Yeah.
like you have talked about the good listening, like a good listener, to be
humble, being meticulous, following the instructions.
So I know at 17 years old, you have gone through struggles, or maybe struggles, or
Yeah.
Can you tell us maybe an example of a struggle you went through personally, and how it affected you, and what you did to fix it?
Well, I have so many. I've experienced many struggles, but anyway, in this, I think it all started in elementary school. So I've had some weaknesses ever since I was young that I'm still conscious of today, but I work on them. So when I was younger, I wasn't attentive. And you see, that really leads me to talk about being a good listener. So I wasn't attentive. And so I would not know what's going on at school. I wouldn't be aware of whether there was homework or not. I just assumed there wasn't any because, well, for personal reasons, it can be hard for me to concentrate on information that doesn't stimulate me. But other times, I wasn't making an effort to remain concentrated. So I wouldn't know whether there was homework, and I would be really surprised when I found out there was an exam on a certain day, or a test. I'd rather say an evaluation. I was like, what? Since when? Like, I had no idea. And so honestly, I thought I was just doing my job by going to school and coming back, and then going to school the next day and then coming back. Really, I didn't think there was more to it, but I wasn't listening. I wasn't listening in class. And that's what led me to be disorganized. I performed poorly in school. And even though I had the capacity to do well, there was something about me that was missing. I wasn't organized. Essentially, I wasn't organized. I wasn't attentive, and I wasn't organized because I wasn't attentive. Sometimes I didn't place value. Other times it was harder. But anyway, the point is just that I didn't make an effort to reach my goal, reach my goal, as in, because I was interested in performing well in school, but I didn't know why I didn't perform that well in school many times. And I wasn't making enough of an effort to focus on what's going on around me, essentially. Focus on what my teacher is saying, what my teacher is telling me in front of my face. So anyway, it started there. And unfortunately, this bad habit of mine persisted until I reached the age of 13. I was in 8th grade, I think. And in 7th grade, I'll actually talk about being in 7th grade. So I was really happy to enter high school. There were some things that but there were great things about high school that I liked, as in middle school, I'd say. So I had a good experience. Well, half of it was a good experience, but the other half was just terrible. Well, and that's because that habit of being disorganized, of not being attentive, it stayed with me. My teachers, I didn't know why I wasn't performing that well in school. I would go to school and then return without any homework, and thinking that there was no homework, and because there was barely any homework, there was still not homework that often, but most of the times that there was, I wouldn't know. And it's a terrible thing. I obviously didn't place, it's not that I didn't place value on my education, but it's because I didn't care to focus, to really just focus, to make an effort to reach my goal and work on myself, trying to improve myself, really. And so it came to a point, I think we're reaching the climax of the story. So the highest point is that, okay, I had braces for 2 years and it was time to take them off. And I took them off. And my orthodontist warned me of the importance of securing your retainer into, well, into the case, to the retainer case, never letting it, this is like your way to prevent it. And of course, I didn't mean to lose it, but I ended up losing it. And that may have been because I did listen to what he was saying, but I wasn't caring enough to secure it at all times. Taking care of your things is just so important. It sounds so simple, but so many of these simple things just didn't come easily to me. But you know what? I focused on my weaknesses, which was obviously taking care of things, keeping things in place, making an effort. It's a value that I had to develop, really, being organized. And so, I lost it, and my journey trying to find it was too difficult. The experience I had, just going from school to the mall, from the mall to school, and then from school to the mall, just because I was doubting whether I searched the school well or whether I searched the mall properly, as I had been to the mall earlier in the day. And so
the mall?
Oh, the mall, yeah. It felt like, if I'm being honest here, I think it's safe to say it really felt like trauma. It felt like,
so were you going to the mall from school?
Yes. Well, okay. It sounds a little unrealistic, so I'll explain. School is very, very close to the mall downtown. My school is situated downtown, and the mall is also situated downtown, and you can bus there. Well, but the thing is, because the buses weren't the express buses, meaning the buses that take a shorter amount of time to get from one place to the other, those weren't available at the time I needed to get to the mall. So it took longer, and it took so long, to the point that I was supposed to get home at 3:45 p.m. and I got back home at 9 p.m. At 9 p.m. It was, or maybe I was supposed to get home by 4, but anyway, my point, pardon?
I wonder if your parents had not called the police for a missing child.
Oh, yeah. Well, anyway, that's its own story. It was character defining. That traumatizing experience. It was a call. Maybe it was obviously a call from the Lord according to Christian beliefs. It was God telling me that I need to change. Like, I need to change. There is something about me that is gonna lead me to face danger of some kind. That's what it was, character defining. It was showing me who I was and what needed to change about me. And so from then on, I noticed these things, and I wanted to become a more organized person. I didn't want to come to class surprised about there being a test or an evaluation. I didn't want to lose my things regularly. And so I went out of my way to download apps that are free, of course, accessible to everybody, that are useful in organization. You can download Google Calendar, you can download Todoist, all these amazing applications designed to help you be more productive. Well, be as productive as you can be. Just organize your life. My life wasn't organized. That's the problem. I know everybody has different approaches to arranging things in their lives, but I think that those they're the best. They're like, they're the best applications. They're the application that have helped me like throughout my whole life. I think those are those changed my life, seriously. They transformed my personality as well. I was just gonna say, there's a problem, like everybody has a different approach towards organizing themselves, but there's a problem with letting things going by the flow all of the time. I've seen this in my own family. I've seen this in other people. You have to have some way of planning your life. It's essential. It's what's gonna lead you to success. But at the same time, I thank God for this experience I had with the lost retainer, because because otherwise I wouldn't have been the person I am today.
Wow.
Yeah, that's very good. What Megan is saying, she had that experience. She would not think what was causing her not following her education properly, not being organized. But to be honest, I think if you speak to a psychotherapist, to those who are professionals, there is, when we grow up, our brain grows as well, grow as we grow. And yeah. Sometimes you can have some disruption that turn away your brain away, that doesn't concentrate on where you should be at your age. You don't care about yourself. And sometimes it is as well, some schools have a counselors, the way teacher can spot it easily. If you are in a very, very good school with teachers who are caring, who are communicating, that's what I have said about that. If you are a parent, you are not raising, if you believe you are raising your child in the way you want, you are perfect. That's completely wrong. If those teacher communicate with your parents and say, my child is like this at home, forgetting everything, doesn't do homework. At school, they share experience. Those kind of things, you need some counseling where you can sit with someone who is a professional and start redirecting your brain, put them in a straight way where they should be at your age, at what you should do. Thanks to God that helped you to recognize where that you were getting your brain were being messed up. But that can be always good if your parents approach. If any parents see their children are starting to mess up when they knew the children were intelligent enough, it is always to seek professional advice, to seek professional help, that it can be done in that way. If you believe you are a Christian is where you can approach your priest, you can talk to your minister, your church minister. Because they learn counseling as well. That is something I can add to it. But it's not you, it's your brain. Is as well, it might have been affected by the situation you were living in, experience, maybe bad experience your mother has went through when she was even pregnant. Because what a mother goes through when they're pregnant, children can be born with that as well. They can affect in later life, they can affect their brain. That is always better to seek advice, professional advice, friends and the family. It's important.
Yeah. Okay. So do you mean to seek professional advice? Like, for example, at this stage, even if, let's say, in my situation, I improved. I basically transformed myself based on that experience. So do you mean to seek professional advice after, meaning at this age, or do you mean
I think that time you were in that situation, if you had professional help, it would speed up your progress, your brain to improve the way you want to be, in a way you feel you are normal. But again, if you feel you have achieved a lot by yourself, I advise you to get professional advice as well, to get professional support. You are in school, you are in university, there are always counselors. You can even go and talk what you went through. They can add a bit, they can tell you more advice, because you believe God has helped you because you are Christian. But if you speak with someone you trust, someone you know is experienced, they can tell you, they can help you to achieve more and more. Because to see in you you have a self-esteem, you have a self-confidence, and that self-confidence, it needs to be more strong. It needs to be, it's
I see.
You are building a house. You put nails and the hammer and everything to make it strong. You need more strength. You need more strength. By getting those more strength, to have a good parents around you, somebody who can listen to you. If you feel your mom can't listen to you, go to your auntie, go to your teachers. They have a counselors. You have a good teacher. Sometimes you go to school, you see a good teacher who likes you, who is. Then talk to them and tell them why when I was like this and I feel like this. Yeah, don't scare, because you are in Europe, you are in America, we are lucky enough to have people who are caring. There are a lot of people who can support us through our difficulties. And as I said, you might have gone through experience in your family, or how your family lived, or your mother, when she was pregnant, she faced so much trauma. So those are things we can say that there is a mask where you feel something has gone completely, but it's still there. If there is any issue you have faced that leads to you being who you were, you need to come out. You need that to come out and clear your mind, let you go, continue be strong and more stronger.
I see. Okay.
I think I get what Prétentienne is saying. What both of you have said just reminded me of an example of my own daughter. She was very smart academically.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't even know how much smart she was until her teacher called us, me and my husband, and he told us, you know what, your daughter, good news, I have good news for you and bad news for you. He said, the good news is she's very smart. And to be honest, she's even outperforming everyone in my class. But the bad news is she has a very weak personality, and if that doesn't change, she's not gonna get anywhere. She had some issues, like she was very sensitive, very sensitive, and she will not take criticism, things like that. The small issues here and there. And he said, really, if she can be as smart as possible, but if she doesn't get those issues corrected, she's not gonna get anywhere. I'm telling you, what you have been insisting on, Prétentienne, I get it, because from then we started working with her, and we start really hard. It is not, as you said, maybe we could have taken the way to professionals, but at least being aware of what was going on with her. And you know what? Sometimes we see the problems of our children, but we don't act. We don't think it's a problem until someone else mentions it. And when the teacher mentioned it, that's when we started to be aware that whatever he was saying was a problem, because we had seen it, but we had not thought it was a problem. So
yeah, you didn't think it was gonna affect her on the long term.
Oh yeah, and we started bringing that to her attention. And we tried as much as possible to help her and to work with her teacher. And honestly, I don't know if I will ever see that teacher again, but I cannot thank him enough.
Yes.
Because it helped very much, very much. Until now, she herself, she's going for her master's degree, and she's doing amazingly. But until this day, she's also recognizing how that teacher helped, even if she didn't think that way that time. She didn't.
Something else I want to come to say, going to live to after school, she went to mall. Every time she went to mall to visit mall. That mall, she thought that will be is relaxing her place to see her nice dresses, she see her shoes. If she had the money, she would spend the money. That is her therapeutic treatment. I think when she went to that mall, she went to see things, to relax her mind. But I feel, yes, that is related to trauma you have faced as a mother. That trauma affected her when she come. And a moving as well, something we never believed that affect our brain is moving to place, go to live another place. For instance, moving a house and a school affected children badly. And then that you as a parent say, who lived in Rwanda with the war, with escaping, everything, that go to our children. If she was young, she been in that miserable place, that affect the brain as well, affect our growing, is our growth. So I'm pleased to hear that teachers are a good example. They can help you to go through everything because they are the ones you live every day. If your child starts school, the more hours she spends, the people she spends more time with are teachers. If you are lucky enough to go to have your child to a good school, to have teachers who are good supporters. And it can be with teachers, they can lead to counselors in schools, they have counselors. So it's always good to seek professional advice, family advice, family support, friends, good friends, learn how to go. You want to be a modeler, you want to be in fashion, you are going to hang around with people who are doing fashion. You want advice, you want them to tell you how to go through, how to achieve, how to be successful. Whatever path you want to go, follow the good people, see, and as well be, as you said, good listening, and judge, make your judgment. What I have heard, is it good or bad for me? Then take what is bad, leave what is good for you in the positive way. So that's how I think we can achieve our life. We can achieve anything we want to achieve. You can choose a negative way to achieve something, but it's always good to follow a positive path to achieve what you want to achieve, to achieve your goals, because you already have a self-confidence and the self-esteem. You need more strength, and that even you are today, you still need those good people advice. You need professional advice.
Oh, yeah.
Your mother is there. If your mother sometimes children feel, oh, because you are telling me to go home, to come back at 6 o'clock. Mother will need to tell you why you are setting those boundaries. You have to be at home at 9 o'clock or 7 o'clock. They need to sit down and explain. They are not punishing you. They are
protecting you.
Yeah. So it's always, if you feel mom is not listening, go to your auntie, go to your uncles, go to everybody's family. You see, it's a good family that will give you a good example. So that's what I can add. So,
yeah, I think, those are all important, very important. And there is something.
It is as good as well as I said. Children nowadays, they have a peer pressure. And our job as a parents is really to stand and make sure our children go not with the wrong crowd. They go with good people. If you know your child has a friends, invite them to tea, to dinner. You see what kind of friends they are. Invite their parents. They invite you back. And you see where is your child. If you see the child is the family is a dodgy family, explain this is a family which hasn't achieved this because of this, because of that. We don't want to be end up like that. So by giving them example, showing what is around, not criticizing that child. You see what you have seen, you can bring to your child. I think you have to choose whether you want to go in that way or this way. So it is good as well to bring your friends to your house. They sleep over, you sleep over. Is a way of trusting you, trusting your friends. So I will trust that.
Another thing I can add to that, like from someone who lives in these countries.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how England it works in England, but here your children have to attend the school which is in your area where you live.
Mm-hmm.
So which means you don't choose the school where your child go. That is how it is organized here. So like I want to mention something for people who live maybe in Canada, for example, where I live. It's like sometimes we there are things that we don't take put importance on, like where you live. Sometimes we just look at the cost of the living, and you choose a neighborhood which is cheap,
mm-hmm.
where the houses are cheaper, and that you can pay less money from your pocket, but it will come with consequences. It will come with a price, because staying in a cheap neighborhood, that means your child will be stuck with cheap children who come from low income families, and
Yes.
those children are always not very. They are not because they don't have much. They don't
have as much knowledge.
They always have some issues, and those are not the children you want to hang out with your children. So yeah, the choice of the neighborhood you live in, this is my advice. If you can afford to buy or to rent a house in a better neighborhood, it helps. I am talking with experience. I lived in bad neighborhoods and I lived in good neighborhoods, and I know how it can affect your children.
Yes.
So that's what I want to add.
Yes, I accept. But again, it is the how you choose to live. It is a luck. For instance, you came to live in Canada, you did not have experience of all those kind of issues. Mm-hmm. So therefore, you will live in where you find the house cheap. You would not ask how the school are, who are the people who live there. You just find it. Me, I went in that situation as well, where I went somewhere is cheap. I bought my house was cheap. But when my child was growing, I was quite lucky enough, because coming here, I joined my family, my late husband's family, who was English, who was coming from in highly well-educated family. And I lived in a cheap area because it was near my sister-in-law, who was a teacher. My sister-in-law lived nearby. But having my sister-in-law who knew the situation, everything, she told me everything about how people who were surrounding me were not good. The schools, there was good, the public school, which was good. There was, which was not good enough. There was a schools which was a little bit far in a good area, as you mentioned. But what I did for me, I was not driving. when I told my child, I don't want my child to walk to that school. Take my child walking on the street with those children, with those family who are rough. I went to learn to drive. When I passed my driving test and I enrolled my child in those good schools which were owned by churches. And I hoped that they would accept my child, and I wanted my child to go there. And I asked my sister-in-law to support me. And I went to church because I knew that the schools, good schools belong to churches. I went to one of the church I wanted my child to go to. So when my child was enrolled, I didn't enrolled in that bad school, which I knew was bad, which are in poor area, which I lived in, or my neighbors went to. So I enrolled my child, and my child, I think, started in year 2000, a school, primary school. I passed my driving test on 25th December 1998. So it is a challenge you give yourself. You want your child to go in a good school. Therefore, my child went to that school. People were really gusted, were angry. How can my son, who lived where I lived, had a place in that school, while people who lived around who were rich didn't have a good that? Because I had a good reference from the churches. I had a good reference from the child I was taking him to singing, and when he was a toddler, everything I was doing.
And we had a plan. We had a plan.
I was making a plan, and I was really determined to take my child to that school. So therefore, I started practicing driving my car to go to that school. I took him, I drove him, and pick him up. I was very proud. Yes, he's in this school. And luckily, my child was bright enough to be in that school. He did well. What I started to do, not to allow him to be around when he come back from school to play with children around my area, I started having his friends around, invite them to tea. And he was invited around as well. Parents, I invited them to birthday parties. They saw how I lived. They saw who I was. I was not who they were thinking as an African, a poor person who doesn't know how to live. It's not about just living there. You need to know. If you had that experience because you just were like dumped in the area you don't know. Me, I was lucky enough to get to know before. So step by step, my son went to good secondary school, which it was a good school, which parents who were rich took their children to private school, to primary school, which is private, to go to a good school, which my son went to. So because of me, I was lucky for him to go to that school. I worked with teachers. I worked with good parents. They introduced me to good activities like playing piano, like going to a lot of activities I was taking my son were children from middle classes. So I was involved with parents who come from in the middle class. Those around who had a bad behavior, they would not even talk to me. My child was not able to play with them because my son was busy going to different activities, was busy going to visit, to have a tea with the friends. He was busy by inviting others coming to my house. So you have the way you can manage it. And then from that grammar school, he went to Oxford University. And why he went to Oxford University? Because I went to the school mixed with middle class people. I got education which was very good. Even you pay extra, making sure he got everything he needed to go there. So you have to work your way around to support a child. And of course, a child can go to those good schools and they go in the wrong crowd. Therefore, you need to know who is involved with your child, and you need to work hard to build a trust with your child, so they will be able to tell you a few things. If you have no trust with your child, that child is going to trust her peer. So it's quite a lot to do, I'm afraid. Sorry.
Yeah, I think we can hold another show.
I can't be, I been a perfect parent. No, it was not about me. It's because what I learned from others. Even today, there were things I did wrong. Maybe my child could have been more. But we all make mistakes. Therefore, we need the support from others.
I think where most of us parents fail is to have that relationship with our children that you are talking about, because it's not always obvious. It's not easy. It's not easy. Maybe Megan knows more about that. Why children don't want to interact with their parents? Or what's wrong? What's wrong with parents? But it's I think if we can find someone who can come on the show, I don't know what is your educational background, Prudentienne, but maybe you can be that one. But I think we need someone, a professional, can come to our show and maybe give us some hints about how to have a relationship with your child, because this is like it's almost. I mean, I am not going to say it's impossible. Sometimes it happens, but it doesn't happen often. For some reason, children prefer to trust their peers more than they trust us parents. So, yeah, it's a challenge. But congratulations with your son, because you worked hard, but it was worth it. Right?
It is working. It is learning from others. It is as well not to be afraid, because when I moved where I lived, I was involved in parks where I met a lot of Rwandans when I was bringing people together. I invited them to my house where in the area where I live. They say, "How did you come to live where there are no Black people? How will you manage to live here? The white people are racist." If you hear that, I wanted to be with Black people because I'm a Black. What I want is to achieve what I want to achieve in my life. How? And as well, living with different people, I learned more. It's not everybody who is racist. It's the people you are mixing with, their background, because majority of people who are racist are people who are not educated, people who never traveled, who never went abroad and they see how other people live. People who are racist because they see what they show on television, representing Africa as there is always a drought, there is always a famine. They live in a hard house, in a mud house. They have no life. But if it's someone who have traveled, had a good life in Africa, they will respect you. They will see how you live. They will respect you. And therefore, if you want the good things, these people here, the white people, as they said, if they see you are someone who want to achieve, who want to get somewhere, they will support you. It's not like us African. If they see you are trying to do something, instead of supporting you, they push you backwards. Instead, here, you are pushed forward, because if someone has helped you to get there, they will be pleased. They will be, yes, I helped her to get there. I supported her to get there. You go in school, you have a brain, you went to a good school. Teachers will do everything to get you where you want to be. It's not everybody's racist. If you starting to fix in your head, everybody is racist, that's how your child is starting to hang with the children who are Black, who are thinking about, who have those thoughts, white people are racist, let's defend ourselves, let's carry our guns, our knife. If they touch us, we will fight again. No, you don't need to. My child lived in where you have no Black people around. When he went to school, there were no Black people. No, except when he went to secondary school, they had about 2 Black there. And he had friends. I remember when he was going to school, and they came out of train. They arrived at the train station, and my son went through the barrier. Someone who was working at train station asked him a ticket. The child will show him ticket and say stand. He asked him to stand on the side and let other people go. And I don't know what happened, but the person who worked at the train station told my son to go where he come from. Go back where you come from, in Africa. You know who stood up? Children who were white, who were good friends of him, went straight away toward the school. He was upset, but they were more angry more than him. They went to the teachers. Teachers, they explained what happened. Teachers went back to train station and made that person lose a job.
Wow.
That was action were taken by white people themselves. Children, friends of my son, and the teachers, his school teachers. They made that person lose a job.
That shows how much he used a good approach to relate, to interact with his white peers.
Mm.
And they ended up by seeing him as just one of them.
Yes, one of them.
Not a black person, but one a friend, one of them.
Yes.
So that's why they stood up for him.
And another time he had another issue on train where gangs really where he abused him, telling him nasty, he's a bastard, he's whatever. And I called the police, and the children explain who the person, the gangs look like, and they were caught. Children came with us to the court. These people were arrested. So we have a system here. This is what I say. You will achieve what we want to achieve because of environment we live in as well, because of the system we live in. Because whenever people say, when there is a yes, you will face racism in police, but where I lived, I had a problem as well. But when I approached police, they dealt with the problem straight away. We never thought we lived in that area. Everybody saw us as important. They would not even touch us until we moved from that area. So there are things we can do. As this is what I feel Megan has really strongly thought about, saying you will not achieve something because you are talented, because of approach you take. That was my approach. My approach was not to listen to those who tell me, go and live in an area where Black people are. My approach was not, I am going to hang around with those people who go and they drink ciders and the beers around where I live. Is it to stay where I am? And if where I was, my son was growing up, I took a job where I was fostering children from white family, from whoever, worked with local community to local government to raise up children. I had about 2 or 3 children I raised up, I was fostering, and that made me being respected in the area because of being me as a widow, that someone who had no husband, who was living on their own, raising up my son and raising other people's children as well who had parents who couldn't look after them. That made me being a strong woman in the area. And I attended I was on a committee, on an advisory committee in my area, police, where I was met with bosses where to talk how to tackle the crime, to tackle racism. So if you go in the area, take advantage of being involved in your community. In your community, go to church, get involved in volunteering activities. So that helps you to mix with the right people as well. So.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. When you talk about that, I don't see myself in. I am very, very, very lazy, and I try to avoid.
Yeah.
I try to avoid to be involved in anything. Oh my God, now you make me feel terrible.
Yeah, when you are raising up a children, me, I had the one. If you're raising a 4 or 5, you need to get involved. Even in school, you have to get involved in the activity, in organizing school events, charity events, all those kind of things. You get a good score as well. Your child gets scores. Say, the mother was helping school, because school will want you as well, because you are good. You helping schools as well. It's not just I am here, got my child, I send my child, I give him school. No, they will follow what you do as a parent as well.
Yeah, I get you.
Mm.
Oh, well. There is a lot to talk about this subject.
It's a broad subject. Yes.
It's a broad subject that we can continue talking about. And now we are heading to the closing of our talk. And I hope we will have many listeners, especially the young people who can come forward and do the same thing that Megan did today. Megan, thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
That's no problem. Yeah.
Thank you.
So I don't know. Well, I don't know if we have Megan, do you have any advice to give to the listeners, or but before we get there, I know you talked about losing your
Retainer,
your retainer, and
that's a huge thing to us.
Very touching story. As I was following it, I was like, oh my gosh, I can put myself into your skin, even if I never had the retainer. My parents couldn't afford it. Even I needed it. I still need it now. Still need braces, but I never had that chance to get braces. So
I see.
Maybe I didn't lose a retainer, but I lost something else when I was a child, and it affected me. And I think you had told about this story to me even before. And I know you told me that because of the frustrations that came with your retainer, you made a song about that retainer. You were how old were you again?
I actually forgot my age, but I think it was more than 3 years ago. So less than or maybe more than 3 years ago, maybe at 13 years old. It definitely should have been 13 years old, because that was the age I lost the retainer.
So I was wondering if before we finish the show, if we will be lucky to have you perform that song before we leave the show. Before we get to that song, to the closing song, I would like to thank our listeners who followed our show today, and really I hope we will have more of these shows with other guests, like different guests, and professionals too. To help us, dealing with the issues that are going around, because there are many, especially issues that are affecting our children. Because you know what, we live just with it. Someone would one time I told someone who told me she didn't want to have children, and I said, you know, you have to have a child. And she asked me, why do you want me to have a child? And I said, because when you have a child, you feel like you have a purpose. The child gives you a purpose. And that person was not she was not approving my idea, of course. She said, I feel bad for you if you are expecting a purpose in someone else, if you can't get it from yourself. So what I wanted to say is, maybe for sure, it's not everyone who shares the same idea as me, but I wanted to emphasize on the importance of our children. As parents, we live for our children. We are working for everything we do. We want to give to our children.
Yes, yeah.
So I'm hoping this show can continue and get some interest from other listeners so that we can hear more from the listeners, from other youth, what they go through, what they can share with the other youth, what helped them, what are the challenges they went through. You know, like Megan or Day, she shared. Megan, you are not on mute.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah.
So I was saying, Megan today, she shared her experience. She shared what she went through, the small problems that she dealt with, but which were big enough to bother her, and how she made an effort to get to find a solution to her problems. And that is something really that can help. And by the way, thank you, Megan, congratulations for taking that time, that moment, and thinking about your struggles and trying everything, trying your best to fix it. Because unfortunately, many children go through the same things, but they don't get to that stage where they sit down and try to make an effort to get it fixed. And that's why we see children committing suicide. I'm not exaggerating. That is a reality. Children are being killed. Our children, from my own community here in Ottawa, there are many children in the Great Lake region, not only Rwandans. I'm talking also about Burundians, about Congolese, about our children. They are all our children. And it is really, really, it gets like, for us parents, it hurts us when we see children who are same age as our children getting through those things and sometimes not even making it, because anything can happen. Sometimes you hear children who got shot. It's not something that is, I am not exaggerating. Those things are happening many times. So I am hoping to get more children, more youth to come to our show for next shows and share their experiences, share their ideas, how they change the things, or share their struggles. Maybe there will be someone out there who is listening and who can help. So
I think it is good idea as well. I think in our cultures we have the culture of being silent, quiet, and not tell your story about your life to hide the way. But the much we hide our problem, the much kills us. And our children come here, they face a lot of experience through medias, through friends they don't know, through culture they haven't lived in before. It is important that parents as well, we bring young people and the parents who can share experience, who can advise each other how they work, and the parents who are struggling can come and share with the parents who have succeeded to do something, where they went through, where they went, what they did, what support they got. So those parents can access those help as well, because we live by sharing experience, by leaning on friends, and having hand helped by a friend, by family. So we are a family. We are Rwandese, we are Congolese, we are Ugandan, but we are a family. We can help each other come out of our problem. We can succeed. If your child is successful, I meet maybe him in somewhere where I am struggling, will support me, will give me a hand, will give my someone they don't know who else need help, they will help. If we don't learn how to help each other, how to support each other, our children are not learning as well. So we need to learn from others.
Thank you very much, Prudentielle. And there is something that I forgot to mention in what you said about helping each other, helping someone to get their goal. When you see someone is doing their job, doing their part, help them to get there. And this is something that it also is a problem in our country, in Rwanda, when we have a lot of talented children in our country. But how many times we see, instead of we witness that instead of those kids getting support, like artistic, we know our children who have proven to be very talented, but instead of supporting their talents, supporting their good work, you see something different. I don't want to go into details.
Yes, that's what I have said. You succeed, you make succeed because of who you are, environment you are living in, as well affect you succeed. To succeed, to get something, your achievement, because you are talented, but you are not a child who come from this family. You are not a tribe of child from this tribe. You are not supporting the government. You are not supporting this and that. So yes, so we are lucky. We will have a chance to achieve something. Let's support those who are struggling by sharing advice. And wherever you live, wherever you are, you can get what you want if you live in a peaceful country where everybody is respected, is encouraged to achieve what they want to achieve. So let's take advantage. Let's not push ourselves, think that we live in people in a country which are racist, they don't get anything. You will never tell me that. If you are intelligent here, you come from a well-respected family that have a value, valuing education, have a positive values, you get far, you go far, you are supported. You are in a good school, you do the best to get to good school. That's your main foundation. Take your child to a school you know that has a good reputation. Whoever mixed with your child every day will affect your life, because our children get damaged in schools they go to every day. That is a main important. And don't take your child to activities as well. Sport activity, music, after school. Have after school activity where the child will go. It helps us to stop them going to look for those negative gang, the negative peers. So
yeah, that is when okay. I hope Megan is getting ready for the performance, but before we get to that, that is very the point you just mentioned is very important. The activities. There is something that I noticed. Like where I live, I always refer to where I live. So there are, I know Canada and England, they must function the same way. There are like activities that are subsidized by the government, which means the low-income families, they get it for free. And they are, so when you go to those kind of activities, that's where you see every child, almost every child there is Black.
Yes.
Right? But when it comes to activities that are not free, you go there and you find no Black person there.
Therefore, don't accept to go to free activity. Go in Canada and England, we are able to do jobs. We are able to work.
I wonder, is it because the Black people are not affording those activities, or it's because they don't think it's important? If I can get it for free, get something for free, I will go for free. But that's where you will send your child for free stuff, but who are they going to meet there?
Yes, it's the attitude. And it's the attitude that I will get something for free, but you don't see the consequences. Is the attitude some Black will come, oh, I can't go and they ask a job somewhere there, they will not give me because I'm Black. So therefore, you are going to accept to live on a income support, on a money support from government helping you £50 a week. That £50 a week, you will go shopping, you don't have money to go to take your child to activities which are paid. So therefore, what you you want to have a free activities, you will have problem. You will have the problem. Your child, you are damaging your child. If you pay
cheap, you get cheap service.
Yes. If you go to pay the activity with those rich people, they will not push you away. They will not refuse you because you are poor. They will welcome you. You will even have a chance to speak to those who are wealthy, who are good, with good heart. Say, I want my child to come to these activities, but next week, maybe I will not afford. Maybe you will come as someone, oh, bring him, I will give you, I will pay. You know, you mixed with the good people, you get good outcome.
Good surface. Yeah,
yes.
Good outcome.
Yes, you may always seek to get with the people you are going to get, to get something from them, something from positive. You will know. If you go with those in income support, you end up going to drink with them, having cannabis, drinking cider every day. That's
coming back with.
And your child who goes with you in that family, what they learn.
And you come back with a bullet in your head.
Exactly. So the people need to know where to go, where to take their children.
Yeah, thank you very much, Prudentienne. I think we can close our show to this point, and thank you very much for your advices. Advice. I hope our listeners will get something from our talk.
Yeah, thanks to Megan as well, who has brought us to this topic. I hope then we have a lot of young people. They have something to advise us. We can share experience and how we can achieve our better life.
Oh, of course. They are. These young people are more powerful than we think. So, Megan, are you ready to sing for us that song about your famous or your
yes,
I don't know how to qualify it, your retainer.
Lost retainer. Yeah.
Lost retainer. Okay. I think after your song, we will ask. Let me take the opportunity to thank the people who have helped us behind the scene. So after the song, they will be free to close our show.
All right.
And thanks to our listeners again, and see you next time.
Thank you.
Right. So this song is entitled But You. And it's obviously about the lost retainer, but it's about me losing something very important as a result of my bad habits, and my mom being the only one to pull me out of, the trouble and give me some advice that was obviously helpful on the long term. Okay.
Okay, thanks.
I used to lose my items just like you. Sometimes I track of time. I thought I wouldn't end up anywhere, and no one cared enough to help me when in need. But you gave advice, I know my stuff, I'm new. Told me get up, we gotta get through this day, 'cause no one's gonna do it for you, for you. Lost something twice a week, oh no, I'm doomed. You said, cost way too much, don't wanna pay. Then I said, you don't believe me, nothing was in my bag. I'm crying out, too much to handle for today. But you gave advice, I know my stuff from you. Told me get up, we gotta get through this day, 'cause no one's gonna do it for you, for you. 30 years old and I'm still on your couch. Lost my diploma and my brain. Somewhere in the darkness, 'cause I'm so distracted by the things I think I cannot change. Like me, like me, like me, like me. You gave advice, I know my stuff from new. Told me get up, we gotta get through this day, 'cause no one's gonna do it for you, but you. Thank you.
Thank you, Megan. And the video, you can say bye to us. Thank you for helping us.
I'd like to thank everybody for the opportunity. I was happy to provide some insight. And again, I would really appreciate for all the young people listening to take some value out of what I had to offer. And yeah, I wish everybody a great, happy weekend and hopefully some self-improvement.
Thank you, Megan. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
no problem.
I